Hey guys, I hope y'all are having a great day and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be checking out the new Kosas Glow IV Vitamin Infused Skin Enhancer. So this is supposed to be like the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter, I think it's called, or the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I might be messing up those names, but it's supposed to be like one of those glowy type of products. So you can use this on its own as your base. You can also mix it with foundation or moisturizer, or you can use it as like a spot highlighter. We're going to be trying this as a base today, so we're going to see, I have oily skin, so we're going to see like how glowy it gets on oily skin and how well it lasts during the day. So I'm going to give you guys my first impression when I apply it, and then of course we're going to do a wear test. I don't know if I can do a full 8 hours today, but I will wear it for a few hours just to see how it holds up on oily skin, and then of course at the end I will let y'all know if I think you should try it out for yourselves. Let's jump right into it. Okay, so I picked this up from Sephora. It retails for $38. For some reason I thought it was going to be cheaper than that, but that is kind of like the price point for Kosas because their foundation is $42. I don't know why I was thinking more like $25 maybe, but it's $38. It comes in 10 shades because they are flexible, and I'm going to be checking out the shade Awaken. So let's shake this up and start off with a swatch. You might be able to tell that I already have a glow going on my face. This does have a nice pump to it. The glow that you can already see on my face is from my sunscreen. Okay, so this is the shade Awaken. I can already tell before I blend it out that it does look nice and glowy. That looks really glowy. I'm really excited about this. I'm hoping it's not too glowy, but you know, it'll be a bit more blended out on my skin than this. But again, this one is the shade Awaken. So the instructions say to blend this out with either your fingers or a damp sponge. I just prefer a brush, so that's what I'm going to go with today. I'm going to use the Morphe E63 brush, which is the one that I use for foundations, but you can blend this out with your fingers if you want, or you can use a sponge. So I'm going to start off with, I was going to do a half a pump like I normally do for a foundation review. This is a full pump. I'm going to start off with this because I feel like the pump was kind of small. So let's start off with that, and let's see what we get. So this is supposed to give us a light coverage, definitely a lighter coverage than a foundation. And it's of course supposed to give us a radiant finish, and it should kind of like even out the skin tone, maybe blur some things. At least that's what it's looking like it's doing right off the bat. Okay, what are you guys thinking? So remember, I do have on a little bit of you know, some sunscreen over here, which is giving me a little bit of glow, and then I have a pump of the product over here. To me it looks okay. It doesn't look like it's too glowy. It looks like it's a little bit more glowy right up in here compared to the rest of the face, but maybe that's just me needing to blend it out a little bit more, but it looks okay. Like, it did kind of blur some things out, and I would say like even things out a little bit, but of course it's not going to give us any type of coverage like compared to a foundation. So I wasn't going to build this up. You guys know how I love to see how foundations build up. I wasn't going to do that, but I do want to put on a little bit more just because I feel like I didn't get a whole lot of product, so I can go in with a little bit more without being overly glowy. So let me also put on a pump over here, and then I'll go back and layer on yet another pump. The shades for this are quite flexible, so it should be pretty easy to tell like what your shade is. And then some people, if not everyone, could probably get away with a couple of shades, but I just took like one look at the shade range and I picked this shade without even, you know, thinking twice. So this is what one layer looks like all over the face. Now that I have it all blended out, I do feel like in certain areas I'm getting what looks more of like a glittery glow as opposed to like a smooth, like shimmery glow. Like, it looks a lot more noticeable to me, like right up in here. But remember, I do have to still put setting powder on. It doesn't look horrible, but I think already I'm preferring the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter over this. Let me go back over here and do one more pump. I think it's good that the pumps are really small because you really don't need a whole lot of product to get a glow. And that's definitely more glowy with the second layer, but it's looking a little bit more glittery than I would like. Okay, 2 layers over here versus 1 layer over here. I definitely like the 1 layer better, but just to keep it even, I'll go back and build this side up too, but I feel like 1 layer is like all you need for this. The next time I try this out, I'll try it mixing it with maybe a matte foundation to see how that works. But on its own, I would say this would be more suited for like a spot highlighter. But even with that, like I just feel like it's just looking a little bit more glittery in some areas than I would prefer. Yeah, it's right up in here where I don't like it. I feel like it's very obvious that I have something right here. Like it just looks like I didn't fully blend something out right here. Like on the forehead, the nose, I think it looks okay. But like right where I have my pores, it's like accentuating the texture in that area. But this is what it looks like, all blended out. So I'm gonna finish the rest of my makeup off camera. No, I have to do my under eye concealer first. I'll do that and then I'll come back and show y'all how I'm gonna set this with a powder. Okay, so I do have my concealer on, and I usually drag the concealer down to like the sides of my nose, so I feel like a little bit of that texture that I'm not liking is slightly covered up like right in this area, but in general in this area and like around my mouth, I'm just not crazy about how it looks. I feel like on the rest of the face it looks okay, but it's just not, it does look a bit more textured than I would like overall. I just think it's a lot more noticeable like right up in here. On the cheek area, I'm noticing it if I get like really close to the mirror, but I mean the cheeks, the forehead, they look okay, but like right up in here, this part is kind of like annoying me. But I'm gonna go ahead and set with my Kosas powder. So I'm not using this because it's Kosas. This is literally the powder that I always use when I'm testing out complexion products. So I know this isn't a foundation, but I'm still just gonna stick with this to set what is this called? I'm gonna call it the liquid highlighter. So I'm just taking some of that on a brush, and let's do a side-by-side comparison. Okay, so I have like a light veil of powder over here versus just the liquid highlighter. What is this thing called? It's called Skin Enhancer, with the Skin Enhancer over here. So I think that it looks better on the powder side. I am still noticing like the texture right up in here, but generally speaking, I think the powder kind of like laid everything down just a little bit, so it looks a little bit more smooth, maybe a bit more filtered over here, but I can still see texture. I do have to like get up in my mirror like this to see the texture though, but like it is still noticeable. But I definitely like the way that it looks better set with the powder. So let me go ahead and set the other side. And I feel like we're moving kind of fast in this video today, so let me just go ahead and put my bronzer and blush on camera. So I'm going to use my e.l.f. blush palette, this orangey shade here. So lately I've been putting the blush like further up, like toward the temple, just to like, you know, further lift the face. And I'm going to go in with the Saie Beauty cream bronzer. So I know we're not doing a foundation review today, but I'm still sticking with all of the same products that I would typically use when I'm testing out a foundation. Ooh, a bit heavy-handed on the bronzer, but we'll go in and fix that. And I'm just taking some residual concealer. This is the brush that I use to apply the concealer. I'm just taking some of that to soften the bronzer back out on my nose. I'm going back in with the brush that I used to apply the Skin Enhancer, and I'm just doing like one final blend all over. I don't know if you guys can make it out, but like on my upper lip area, it looks kind of chunky, like it didn't blend out right there. This is the Lawless Beauty lip liner in Coco. And this is the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in the shade Stone. So as you can see, I'm going for a pretty light, everyday, like kind of like a no makeup look today. Okay, so here's the makeup for today. So my first impression on this new Kosas Glow IV Skin Enhancer. I'm not liking it so far. Like, I just feel like when it says Skin Enhancer, that's exactly what it's doing, but in a bad way. It's like enhancing texture on the face. Like, I just don't care for how it looks. I will probably try this again mixed in with a foundation to see how that works, but I think you can tell, or at least I can tell, the way it's sitting on my face on its own. I think even if you mix it in with another product, it's just going to kind of like enhance the texture on the face. But that's just my first impression. Who knows, maybe after I wear it for a few hours, things will kind of like smooth out and get better. We'll see. But first impression, I just don't really care for this. I was excited, but I'm not feeling it so far. But I'm gonna wear it for a few hours. I don't know how long I'm gonna go for today, but we'll see. So it's going on 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so I'll see y'all a little bit later on, and then I will give y'all my final thoughts. Okay, y'all, I'm so sorry. I don't know how I did this, but I don't have any audio in this part of my video, so I'm switching to voiceover mode. So it's 8:23 in the evening, so I had the makeup on for about 5 hours now. I'm zooming you guys in so that you can see that I still have that texture that I was talking about earlier. So unfortunately, the makeup does not look any better after wearing it for a few hours. I still feel like on the bottom half of my face, the texture is very enhanced, but I also feel like I can notice it even more on the forehead as well. So just overall, I'm just not happy with the way that the makeup wore. If you've ever worn the Huda Beauty Glowish liquid highlighter, that might not be the exact name of it, but I'll put a picture up on the screen. If you've ever worn that, I feel like this Kosas Skin Enhancer is a dead ringer for the Glowish one. I didn't like the Huda Beauty Glowish one. And to me, they were exactly the same in that they just don't look smooth on the skin. They enhance texture and they just look almost kind of like glittery with the way that the light hits it or something. I'm just not a fan of how it looks on my face. Now, I will say for me having oily skin, I don't think that I look overly shiny or overly oily for having had this on for 5 hours. So I guess you could say it did wear okay in that regard. But just in general, just how it looks on the face, I just don't like the way that it wears on my skin. So unfortunately, I would not recommend this, but I am curious to see how or if it works out for other people. So thank y'all so much for watching. I'm so sorry for the voiceover mode, but I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel before you head out, and I will see y'all back here for my next one. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.